let's get to it. The
Let's.
news. Breaking news.
Mm.
All right. If you haven't already heard, if you haven't seen the internet, but I don't even know how to say this because like I'm like it just sucks. But our truth's contract runs out and it is not being renewed. So initial reactions, your first thoughts. This isn't a official topic. This really, like I said, this broke news today. Um, the internet is going a buzz right now about this situation. So what do you guys got? Let's start with you, Cliff.
I thought it was a joke, to be fair. And like reading the comment section on Twitter, like a lot of people were like, "It's way past April 1st. It's June 1st. You know, blah 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 blah." And then I saw a Dijak comment was like, "We should wrestle a match." And I was like, "Oh, this is real. This is really happening." I hate it because I get it. R-Truth's been in the game, for a long time, especially at the E. But he's there's just somebody who there's no one on the roster who can do what he does, and I say that in the aspect of like comedic timing, just his wrestling ability. So I was very disappointed to see that WWE let him not not renew his contract. Um, hopefully we get to see him come back in some kind of fashion. I don't know what that fashion would be, whether it's just like as a commentator or they bring him back as just like a random legend deal where he gets to just show up. I don't know, but I don't like it. That's my initial reaction to it. I don't care what it is. It's just you literally just had this man put over JC Mateo, and what more do you need from him? Like this man, like he'll do anything just to make the company better. So I don't know. I'm not here for it. So that's my thought process.
All right, what do you got, Twitch?
I feel like I'm the only one who's not like. Don't get me wrong. This sucks. This man was down to do whatever the fuck y'all threw at him. I feel like I'm one of the few people who are not as shocked by this. The man is 53 years old. Like let's make that completely blunt. He has been around for a minute.
False allegations.
You
We don't
shut.
know how old R-Truth is.
Okay, well,
They
according to
have not
Google, he
aged
is 53
since
years old.
'99.
Okay, well, according to Google, that man is 53 years old.
Well, Google is
I
wrong.
well,
It also says it's the Gulf of America.
yeah, I'm just saying. We ain't getting into that. um, I look. I don't get it wrong. I his gimmick, I feel like ran its course. Could you still do more with it? Absolutely. But now it's time for us to start freeing up money for like the younger talent and more serious people to put over now. Call it what you want, but the man's been around, like I said, for almost 20 fucking years.
But you continually put him on TV. So it's not like
I'm not.
he's not justified. Like the because some of these cuts that have happened, right, has been like well, they're not on TV and we can't really justify them being on TV if they're not really working and we can't pay the costs and this that and the other. And I get that, right? I do understand it's a business, it's dirty, right? It happens. But like this is a man that you legit have been putting on TV all the time. And just even for the last couple of months, he's been on TV. And I know he ran an angle with John Cena and stuff, but it's everything that has been doing its thing, right? Like, if it wasn't for the Judgment Day, or if it wasn't for R-Truth, would Judgment Day be seen as much of a force as it is now? I
Probably
mean, Truth really like he got the Judgment Day over, and then they hated him even more after they kicked him out. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain things that I'm just kind of like, man, listen, this dude, he's putting in work. Like he's doing everything that you need him to do, and
I
anybody you needed to put over, he was putting over.
I
I just
don't
don't.
disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I feel like I'm one of the few people that are not as shocked by this as many people are.
Um,
Chaz.
so um, I'll keep it blunt. Being a black guy, a black wrestler,
You're black.
I know, right? Crazy.
Holy
I
shit.
thought,
Um,
I thought that was just the shadows.
being a black wrestler and seeing this, it sucks. It feels like a gut punch. It feels worse for me because growing up, right, our truth was the guy. Our truth was the guy.
Sadly,
What? Yeah, you definitely sideways now, hanging around.
What in the world?
Yo, this is what you guys don't know is that this is how Chaz actually spends his life. Is just sideways.
You know what? You're right. So guess what? We're gonna go like this until I finish my point. So
even your point thinks you're wrong.
I can't wait. I
exactly,
can't wait
right?
to
That's
see what I
crazy.
can't wait to see what
So
this looks like in the clips.
Oh my god.
an opus, that'll be hilarious. So here's my take on the whole thing. So like I was saying, being a black wrestler, this sucks. And it's more of a bigger gut punch for me because as a child, I remember when R Truth debuted. I remember the vignettes when R Truth was coming to SmackDown because he debuted on SmackDown.
Yes.
And R Truth, this is now remember, R Truth was after Booker T. This is when Booker T left. There was no real black talent that was successful, really, at that time during like the mid 2010s, 2012, 13. There really wasn't, unless you're Samoan. It hurts a lot because, yes, Twitch, you're right. He is 53, 50, whatever.
Allegedly.
Undertaker. No one was talking about the Undertaker's age.
Oh yes, we were.
We weren't. We
Yes,
only talked
we
about the. No,
were.
no, no. Let's be real. We only talked about Undertaker's age is when he looked bad. But let's be for real. The last 5 years of Undertaker's career, if Undertaker looked good, ain't nobody saying a goddamn thing about Undertaker's age and that he needed to wrap up the boots. You are the only one.
I don't feel like I am. I don't feel.
I give you, and if people want to prove me wrong, I have no problem being proved wrong. I'm always proved wrong on this show. So that's not like it is what it is. But I've never seen that. All of the discourse on Undertaker was when he looked bad. If he looked good, oh, Undertaker can't wait for you next year, WrestleMania. Weren't you just talking last year about he needs to retire, hang the boots up? Another person, John Cena. How old John? How old is John now?
40 something.
40
40
something.
something, close to 50, right? We ain't
Mm,
talking about
yeah.
John's age, but of course he's retiring at the end of the year. So why should we? I feel like it is not fair for the fact that our truth, being the company man that he is, being the 524/7 champion that he was, the tag team champion, the United States runs, all these title runs, and the impact and the impact he had on the locker room. I think that's why it's really it really sucks. It's because the locker room he was universally loved by the locker room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and fans still like.
Like fans, yes, but as we can see now, TKO really doesn't care about the average fan. We've been
Mm-mm.
saying that for months.
Yeah.
And I know on the show we said it a couple weeks ago when I was watching the show. I think Twitch said it. He was like,
Actually, Cliff said it.
"It was
But
Cliff." One
yeah.
of you guys said it, but you were like the DK. You're getting rid of the average fan in a sense. Like you're pricing them out, right? So now you're pricing them out from the live event. Now you're gutting them emotionally because there are a lot of people, not just black, but there are a lot of people who are connected to our truth just by who he is, what he does on television. And that sucks because those people now lose that
Yep.
for no reason besides what? He's old. Okay. You weren't saying that he was old last year.
Here's a point that I'll throw to you, right, Chaz? And this is something nobody's talking about Rey Mysterio.
Right, thank
Rey's
you.
50.
Yeah.
Ray is 50, and he's working weekly. I mean, now I know he's got a torn abductor right now, and he's coming back from injury, but like no one is saying anything about him. But like but our truth here, 53 years old, still putting in the work, still grinding. Like I get it, you want to make room for younger talent to have them like come through and just like get better, right, and start to take on these new opportunities. Froze too. Um,
Uh-oh.
yeah, my camera froze. I'm still here. I'll get back to it. The disembodied voice. But Ray, like Ray's one of those guys that you just like. Ray and R-Truth are those guys that are in a locker room to help teach the new crop to come
Oh
through.
yeah.
And I feel like cutting someone like R-Truth is just it's not fair.
I feel like if you need somebody who could teach people how to talk on a mic, that's our truth.
Yeah.
Uh, if you need somebody who can run a comedic gimmick and get it over, i.e., like you were talking about, Chaz, with the 24/7 I-95 695 championship. Like, if he is that guy, I personally think, and I was talking to a few people about this earlier, I think TKO is trying to step away from the comedy haha gimmicks. It wouldn't surprise me if you see Alpha Academy split up next.
Well, I think that's already in the works. I mean, when you look at what Rusev was doing with the Redeemer and putting like fixing the broken things, like I definitely see that happening. But
If that happens, it wouldn't surprise me if all three of them got fired. It sucks to say that. It wholeheartedly sucks to say that. It would not surprise me.
Let me tell you, the IWC will lose their mind.
The IWC would lose their mind.
They would,
But let's be serious. What are you going to
especially
do?
after this. Now you're getting rid of what? Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa.
What are you going to do with Giselle?
Oh, buddy, you.
I when I look at the product that we're getting right now, it is a little too serious, and there needs to be. It's a variety show. It is what it is. Like
Yeah.
there needs to be some humor involved in that. So I don't know. It is what it is right now. It just sucks.
All right, let's get into it. Damien's dumbass of the week.